then we go like this. Both are recording. 3, 2, 1.
Bingo! The podcast is on.
Welcome to Hardy Books. Can't even remember what episode this is, but it's rolling like a freight train, speeding like a space brain one more time tonight. And it's me, Mark Maloney, your main boy, with none other than Ed O'Neill from Married with Children and Modern Family and Wayne's World. Ed,
Yep, not to mention Ed O'Neill Radio Show.
Exactly.
That's right.
Great to have you on the show, Ed.
Hey, thank you. I mean, I was waiting for a long time to be on your show.
Yeah, you're Ohio man.
Yep.
Yeah, but
So,
I've got to reveal you're not actually that Ed O'Neill, though you do look alike. And you're from
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
Yeah, I was born in St. Paul in the Irish part of town.
Westies.
Yeah, Westies. Yeah, I am a Westie, County Mayo.
Good man.
Yep, when I took my DNA test, it proved County Mayo.
You got to be careful where that stuff ends up, though, man. You don't want it in the hands
of the police department.
the hands of some shadowy boys in Google or some shit trying to make super soldiers out of your DNA.
That's right. And also, yeah, they might, because I got the superior voice. So they're probably trying to figure out how they can do it.
You have a magical voice for radio. And to tell you this, first of all, just to introduce you, Ed and myself have been friends for about 4 years now, and we met at a concert called
The Biters.
The Biters from Atlanta, Georgia, and they were very, very entertaining band, so check them out. Yeah, they were playing kind of, Kiss, AC/DC-esque.
Yeah, well, that's what they were influenced on, because when I interviewed them, that's what they talked about, remember?
They had cool hairdos.
Yeah, they did. I mean, those guys really played it out, the rock and roll look, in a big way.
See, that's the thing. Like, that's what you do. You have the radio show here in Stockholm, and you have a lot of big names from punk, rock and roll.
Yeah, punk rock and old rock bands, new rock bands, and lots of alternative type music. All those artists seem like they want to come on my radio show.
Peter Andre, Mel C, Bryan Adams, all the big names.
Oh yeah.
That's Club 7 Juniors.
Yeah, they just kicked down the door to be on the Ed O'Neill show.
Yes, they do.
Believe you.
So yeah, we got on well, and I think I was kind of doing a bit of promoting in a venue called the International for a while, which was mired in complications from its inception. But you got me to put a gig on for John Zip, who's a
Scottish guy.
Yeah, punk guy. Nice.
Oh, real nice guy.
Grand fella, Ed. He's a grand fella.
Yeah, he sure is. And you know something?
I lost money on that fucking gig.
Yeah, but he played for, how long?
4 hours?
4 hours straight. Only took a break to have a couple beers.
I wasn't even there for it because I had to do a
Yeah, he had a couple pints
Ireland.
and then jumped right back up again and started playing again.
But that was it, man. It was just a man of resources and dedication. And he just wanted to bring mirth and cheer to the audience.
Yeah, to entertain.
Yeah, and that's entertainment, as Paul Weller would
Yeah,
say.
and a lot of people were very taken by him.
Yeah.
They were blown away about the way he performed and his songs and everything. And then he did a lot of requests, and he knew those numbers too, and he just kept on going, man. Like
he was a machine.
He was a robot, with ever-ready batteries. Kept on ticking, and
he was a Duracell motherfucker.
Duracell, man. Yeah, there you go. Not ever-ready.
I was going to say to you, lovely laddine.
No advertising here, but go ahead.
we might cut a deal with Duracell.
Yeah, why not?
What was I going to say to you? So yeah, basically, yeah. You've. When did you come here? Was it the late 80s?
No, I came here in the early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah, I never learned how to speak Swedish either.
Yeah.
Just sailed like an eagle here.
It's a tough one because as soon as you actually can speak Swedish and the Swedes know you speak Swedish, the veneer of benefit of the doubt is gone immediately. It's
the novelty of you is totally gone.
Sometimes I like to pretend I can't speak Swedish, so people are like, I'm like, oh, is that what you really think, eh? But it doesn't really happen anymore because I think it was like the Borg cube. I've been assimilated.
Yeah, exactly. But it's everybody here in this country can speak English, and if they don't speak English,
they're thick cunts.
Yeah, you don't want to be friends with them anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, what about this weather we're having, Ed? What about this weather, man?
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's like being in Southern California again.
Yeah, and you're a SoCal man as well. So let's talk about yourself. Let's get a bit of a, it's nice to shoot
the feel of me, who I'm all about.
Exactly. Give these fuckers.
Okay. Well, it all started in Minnesota. I was born there, and I left Minnesota when I was like 4 years old with my parents. And my dad didn't like the cold weather anymore in Minnesota because there they say it's like close. The cold there is almost as close as it is to the Arctic. Back before the climate change.
Yeah, but they did have some polar vortex there recently enough. Apparently, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, all those places but they're up near the Great Lakes.
Yeah, they are.
So
Lake Superior's on one end of Minnesota, and then it's the land of 10,000 lakes.
A bit like Finland.
Yeah, kind of like that. And that's why a lot of Scandinavians wanted to move there.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a lot of... Yeah, Minnesota especially has a very large population of... especially Swedes. I mean, it's
Swedes and Norwegians.
Yeah.
And Danish people, too, I found out. And,
really?
Yeah, and loads of Finns up north. Because the Finns were working as like lumberjacks and also working in the iron mines.
So they were skilled with those kind of industries.
Yeah, so they just like all morphed into what they were doing in Scandinavia, morphed it into what they were doing in Minnesota, starting farms and everything.
And similar climate.
Yeah, and the Irish came, they became lawyers.
And publicans.
Yeah, no, I hope not, but some did.
As in
like my cousin Deb O'Neill,
he's got a pub.
Who loves Trump.
Is he a Trump merchant?
No, it's a girl.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then I got a cousin named Mike Lynch who loves Trump too.
But you're a Bernie man, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I am. I'm from... my family hails from Rathlee. That's a suburb from Sligo. Sligo.
Yeah, I think... I heard something today that that Tulsi Gabbard wasn't invited to the debates. And that's the best fucking candidate, I think.
Well, I think so too, and I think if Bernie Sanders wins,
he won't get in. It'll be some gobshite like Joe Biden or.
No, Joe Biden's dropped.
Oh, he's dropped, is he?
Considerably.
Yeah, they're all fucking dickheads, man. I mean,
deep down they all are.
Yeah, psychopaths. I mean, if you imagine imagine the ego and or just the sheer amount of grooming it would take to become the supreme leader of America. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you have to be a little bit of
something wrong with you, man.
Something weird with you or something to be able to be accepted by the American people, because the American people are so, how would you put it?
Misinformed
and... but
it's not their fault. I mean, there's a lot...
Well, it's not their fault. They've been dumbed down by the media over the last 30, 40 years, and the middle class has disappeared. It's because the Republican Party wants to... make it that way. They just want to keep the 1% super rich and just let the middle class turn into poor people.
But didn't a friend of yours, Danny Furious, who used to play drums for Joan Jett back in the day? He's been here for how long? Like 30 years now?
No, he's been here quite a while, longer than me. I think since 86.
86, the year Platoon was made.
Yeah, he met a Russian-Swedish girl.
What a combo.
Anna, and she brought him to Sweden, so they both kicked heroin here, and she stayed on it, and he didn't, and he excelled as a vegetarian cook. And
so she stayed on the heroin?
Yeah.
And what happened to her in the end?
Well, she's no longer with us.
Really?
Yeah, as I tell Cassandra, my kid, she's sitting on a star.
Wow. So that's one way of putting it. When did she check out?
Like about 5 years ago or something like that.
Was it from the gear?
Time flies, and and then her boyfriend, Daryl, he disappeared too. Not too much time after she left, about a year or two. It's pretty sad. I mean,
what is it with 70s? Like the 70s, 80s kind of rock groups. Like, I mean, I was listening to Johnny Thunders, and for any of you uninitiated listeners out there, Johnny Thunders used to play in the New York Dolls, and then he moved to Sweden. And funny enough, I only found out your man.
And so did Jerry Nolan, the drummer.
That's an Irish name, if ever there was one.
No, he is one.
Oh, he is, yeah.
He's from the Bronx.
Oh, right,
he's from, like, in the same area where
Queens,
Johnny's from. Yeah, so he's an Irish guy from New York.
Fair play to him. And he lives here in Sweden as well?
He's a made dude, huh?
He's a made dude.
Like Johnny Batchelor, but we'll get into him a little bit later.
That's some good stuff. That's some great stuff coming up on Johnny Batchelor. God bless him.
Yep, he's a real Irishman, he is.
He is. He's got a gold grill and everything.
Yep, in his mouth.
Yeah, bitch. Not saying he's a bitch, just saying the word, yeah, bitch.
Or you might get a knock on the door by somebody with gold teeth.
Gold teeth and a solid silver cudgel.
And a gold pair of brass knuckles.
A pair of gold knuckles, if you will, Ed. Yeah, so what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so it seemed like back in from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, because I'll go back into kind of Sweden's link to America is kind of funny because it's been neutral over the last 100-odd years. A lot of my father-in-law Ulf was a fucking lunatic back in the day. He was a part of the music scene. Apparently his brother played support for the Beatles.
Where was that? In
somewhere in Stockholm. He's seen Jimi Hendrix live at Grana Lund when the owner just went, "No, this is a curfew," and just like unplugged his amp.
He was there when that happened.
He was there when that happened. He's seen the Doors and he's seen Led Zeppelin. So he's seen all the big names back in the day. Yeah.
It's like my kid's grandmother just passed away just recently. She saw The Who, 1966.
Wow, back in the day when it was all fresh.
Yeah, back when they were on fire.
Well, he told me that there was a lot of GIs who had like basically just fucking got out of Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam and came here.
Yeah, and came here. Loads of them.
Yeah, they did.
And then I think there was like Miles Davis came here, and he even he's got a song about Stockholm. I think it's like Sweet Stockholm or something. Jimi Hendrix had a son here. It's like
Johnny Thunders has a daughter here.
Yeah, that's right. And Johnny Thunders, it turns out your man Stevie Clarkson from,
Yeah, he still doesn't want to be my friend on Facebook.
Oh, no, but he's a bit of a cool dude, this old Stevie.
He's too cool for this guy, obviously. But anyway.
You know it. But yeah, I was reading Johnny Thunders' Wikipedia page the other day, and this guy Stevie Clarkson, who's friends of mine, wears a cool hat and sweet hair. But he was the guitarist. He was Johnny Thunders' guitarist, and apparently Johnny Thunders was...
he played on one live album with Johnny Thunders. I know that for a fact because I have it.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
But I read on the Wikipedia page that there was talk about Johnny Thunders had been murdered. There was speculation around that because...
Well, they got a movie out now, I think. I don't know if it's out yet, but it's... Yeah, I think it is out. I think New Rose Records put the movie out with Johnny Thunders. I'm not sure. You can Google search it.
Was it a documentary or film?
It's almost like a documentary film type thing.
Yeah.
I think, it's like some... I don't know if it's some acting in it, but I think it's just like probably interviewing people that saw him last and things like that.
And he was Italian-American, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was.
From the Bronx.
Yeah, he's from... his family is from Sicily.
All right, nice place. Been there.
Yeah.
Palermo, Trapani, Ricci.
Yep, and so... that's Johnny Thunders, but he made his mark here in Stockholm. He sure did.
Yeah, but he was also a heroin addict as well. But apparently someone said that he thought he was buying heroin, but they gave him LSD and he shot up a shitload of LSD or something and went out that way. I don't know
what happened, but I think, it's like if you read all sorts of different things that happened to him, but I think one of the guys... Trying to think who was there that saw him get taken out, and he was shaped like a pretzel when they took him out.
That's right, yeah. He mentioned how someone had romanticized the idea of him lying with his guitar in his hands as he slipped out of this mortal coil.
No, I think he was in pain when he died.
Yeah, apparently he was in a U shape. And they had to take the body bag was like in a U shape as they took him out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, set in.
God rest him.
Yep, and it ain't a way to go, people, and don't do drugs.
Yeah, his album "So Alone" is great album. But was that written when he was in Stockholm?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was probably written in New York or something. But I have it. I have the original copy. I didn't get the remastered one that came out a couple of years back.
Yeah, you can't. One of the big songs off that is "You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory."
No, you can't. People.
Pay to try. All the smart boys know why. Yeah, it's a great tune. So check that out, man. You hear it's not all about the comedy here on the podcast. It's about music because I've got a good brain when it comes to the music. Hey.
That's right, and both of us, between me and Martin, we know a lot about music.
We do indeed, and we've had some good times on the radio show. And maybe, just maybe, we should angle for a more prestigious position at one of these very trendy, artsy, fucking public radio for SVT, but I don't really have the connections over here. I don't know. Maybe we should just rock in one day and go, do you know who we are?
No, I tried to get on P3, and
What did they say?
No, they said that everybody wants to hear people speak Swedish. But the funny thing is, most people
They could just put subtitles on the radio.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of people like to hear me speak English on the radio.
Because you've got a sweet voice.
Yeah, exactly. And people go bananas when they hear me on my radio show. And I don't think there's any problem because, like I said, 95% of the people in Sweden can speak English.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. Better than some people I know back in the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, they can speak English. And a lot of my friends back home where I come from, the Swedes actually speak better English and are better at grammar than they are in English.
So tell me, back where you come from, right? Your family, you did a DNA test recently, which said that...
I did, and I really impressed you, and I impressed a lot of Irish people, believe me.
So now you can get your Irish passport.
Yep, I can.
You can and should, because you're a Buchel and a Heron, one of the Fina.
That's right. I'm mostly Irish with a little bit of Welsh.
No harm, bit of Celtic, Welsh.
Scottish, and it's just Scottish and Irish.
Yeah. A crew of hard nutters are coursing within your veins and your DNA is...
That's right.
It's a good stock. So basically, you came from an Irish-American...
background.
And St. Paul's is the capital city of Minnesota.
Yeah, it is.
And then you came from the south side of Minnesota, was it?
No, I came from St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul to the Corinthians?
Yeah. Well, it's all probably Catholic. It's like I got baptized at St. Columba there, and I had my godfather was Neil O'Neill, and so when I came to Stockholm, I had to register there. Mm-hmm. So I'm registered at the Roman Catholic Church here in Stockholm. Because I had to.
The Diocese of Stockholm.
Yep, or I would have had a guilty conscience the rest of my life and been floating around in purgatory, and we didn't want
that. So if you were knocking about in America, you'd be like, Irish Catholic.
Exactly. Well, that's what you have to say.
Yeah.
To be respected. But if you say Irish Protestant, people just say, get the fuck out.
People just be confused.
Yeah. There's no such thing.
Uh-oh. Please don't alienate my Protestant audience.
No. We're just doing that in good humor.
Hey,
good
we're breaking balls. Good
faith.
Good faith is right, mate. And tell me this. So, when you were 4, I mean, obviously you still have family in Missouri. No, not Minnesota. Minnesota. Sorry. I nearly said Minneapolis.
Actually, I have a brother. Remember that?
Oh yeah, you found out you had a through the DNA test. I found out
I had a brother and a sister. My dad was like Genghis Khan.
Your dad was sowing the wild oats. Tell us a bit, like, your dad's story is fascinating as well, Ed, because your dad fought in the military campaign in the Philippines against the Japanese.
He was in Corregidor. He had half his thumb shot off. He was a paratrooper. He was a platoon leader. He was a lieutenant.
Yeah.
So, he had it going on, but it didn't, I don't think it was that great when he had half his thumb shot off in the jungle, because then you
can't play fucking PlayStation.
No, you can't. I mean, today's Army guys would be in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be missing out on all their games. But anyway,
texting on the phone.
But anyway,
how did he lose the thumb?
He was parachuting down, and Japanese snipers were shooting at the paratroopers.
And they just so happened to get him on the thumb.
Yeah, shot the tip of his thumb off. And he survived naturally, and then he set up camp, set up the big guns up on the mountains in Corregidor, and bombed the hell out of the Japanese down below. Mm-hmm. And they actually won the war in Corregidor, but he was there for almost 4 months.
4 months, man.
Yeah, just bombing the shit out of the Japanese. And he actually took out a Japanese patrol unit hunting for the paratroopers, and the same night they jumped. So he took them out himself because the men were too scared. So that takes a real Irishman with a lot of balls to do something like that.
Oh, God, that's crazy, man. I mean, I mean, like, it's funny. America's just, like, I mean, just since its inception, it's just been constantly in some sort of war, and
with each other and everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Civil War, then you had like the Spanish War. I mean, they had a war with Spain, and that was fought in the Philippines, and I think that's I mean, like, I think Cuba had something to do with that as well.
Well, that was the Bay of Pigs.
Oh no, this is like way back in like the 19th
That was
century.
way before that. Yeah, the turn of the century when they first had.
It was the Spanish.
Yeah, they used
American War.
submarines too. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, they find them sometimes. Underwater, the ones that sunk. Yeah, it's a real interesting piece of history there.
Yeah, because it's just so ingrained into American culture is like, support the troops and whatnot. And look, you kind of, if you like, I can like when I was a kid, I used to watch all these American war films. I'm like, wow, I want to be in the army, and it's all cool when it's like all shot together and there's a epic soundtrack and it's like, us versus the bad guys. But in as they say in Pink Floyd, us and them. And after all, we're just ordinary men kind of vibe.
And that's true. And it's really something you don't want to get yourself involved in. Mm-hmm. Because my dad told me if I was ever at age where they drafted, he was going to send me here to Sweden.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, and I went anyway when there was no war. I just came to work.
Yeah.
Yep. And but anyway, I'm here and you're here and we're doing a podcast and we're talking about some real interesting things.
Yeah, I mean it's all ahead of us, Ed O'Neill. I've been meaning to get you on for a chat for a long time, but you know how my life is. It's a fucking mess at times.
Well, mine is too right now, but I'm trying to gather it up and try to make the best out of it.
Well, the good thing
that's all you can do.
There will be people listening to this, Ed, in the most random places scattered across the world, mostly the Irish diaspora or the diaspora, whichever way you want to say. And I'm sure that they'll find some great credence in this conversation. There'll be a bit of, they'll find some information, and it's good to get to know you, man, because you're a legend, and yeah. I mean,
well, I paid my dues here in Stockholm.
I did myself, man.
More times than
you paid extra dues.
More times than I want to think about it.
You paid compound interest on those dues. So if anything, you should be getting a bit of dues back at this stage.
Well, exactly. It's like me not knowing how to use my Coop credit card. The girl told me, she said, you know what? You know how much money you have on your card? I said, how much? And that for food? And I said, yeah, tell me. She goes, 77,000 crowns.
Fuck off.
That's what I said.
You've got that much on credit down at the store?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's because I've been living here for 13 years and I've had the credit card, but I never checked.
So you can just like splash out on as much food as you like?
Yeah, I can live for the next 10 years on food.
What a result, man. That's fantastic.
Free food.
I think I'll be coming around here for a bit of grub.
Why not? We'll have barbecues. We can have everything.
You're only telling me this
ice cream, all that fun stuff.
You're only telling me this is the end of the summer. But no, this summer weather is fantastic. It's like a right little... it kind of makes me a bit melancholic at the same time because I know that we're heading in, especially in Stockholm, it's like compared to Ireland, you've got like about 2.5 weeks of extra winter each side.
Yeah,
but
true.
It's a very beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, so hey, let's keep the Ed O'Neill train going. So you moved from Mississippi, yeah?
No, from San Clemente. Yeah, right. I moved from San Clemente. I moved from Capistrano Beach to Sweden, and I've been here since 1993.
Right. So after you lived in Minnesota, you moved to California.
Yeah, my parents moved to Minnesota. California.
And where was that? Minnesota. San Diego or somewhere like that?
No, we moved to Laguna Beach first.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice back then.
That's what I was asking about Danny Furious earlier on. Because, we're both great men for going off on
Danny
tangents.
Danny
O'Brien, another Irish man.
Yep.
Tell me, Danny said California looked like shit when he was there.
Well, I tell you, as he put it, he goes, Ed, you don't want to go back. I said, why is that? And he goes, because, Ed, California's a shithole.
And he said that?
Yeah. Word on, all the way.
Wow.
But the thing is, he said that it's like Camp City, tent city all over California. And the tents are put up in the most weirdest places.
Yeah.
And the people don't move, and they're having a rat infestation there in places like Los Angeles. And they're saying all these old diseases, like from the Middle Ages, are going to start coming back again.
TB and whatnot.
Yeah, you just said
Dysentery.
it. And also the Black Death might even be popping up. They said
the Black Death, the bubonic
because
plague.
they're overrun with rats.
With rats and fleas. Yeah.
Rats and fleas.
And if you throw into that powder keg bad. Apparently,
It's disease.
But also polluted air as well.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's like sometimes after it rains, when you lived where I lived, you could see Catalina, but on a normal sunny day, the smog was so thick you couldn't see Catalina.
Yeah, well, that was the thing about London in the Great Plague was they say that the what kind of contributed to the veracity of the plague was the air quality was so bad.
Fleas biting rats, and then the fleas biting humans.
Who was biting the fleas?
Yeah, we'd like to know. And if you know, you can tell us. And
Send it into Maloney 101 at Instagram.
Because we really want to know.
And Ed, you got your social media there as well. Before we continue on about the plight of California, give yourself a bit of a promotion so people can find you and they can have a little listen to your stuff.
Okay, I kind of took a sabbatical from the radio for the last 6 months.
That's American for a break.
Yeah, for a break. So I took a break from the radio for 6 months. 6 months. And now I'm going to go back. Hopefully I go back next week on the radio. I'm going to do two shows a month.
Just to scale it back a bit.
Yeah, just to make it a little bit more mellower and think out the shows better, and that way bring in more famous people and things like that.
Duff McKagan would be a great guest.
No, he'd probably come on my show.
Yeah.
And the famous people I had on my show, can you help me remember them all? I had Nazareth on the show.
Nazareth, yeah, solid fucking band, man.
Susie Quattro on the show.
Susie and the Banshees. Is that Susie and the Banshees?
No, Susie Quattro. She's way before Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah, because I always get them mixed up. Yeah, you have. It's like the Mothman prophecies in this house as well. I'm over at Ed's place and he's got an infestation of moths.
Yeah, because I'm next to the forest here in a bird sanctuary.
It's like Richard Gere, the Mothman prophecies.
Look up on the ceiling. See, by me closing the window, there's not that many of them up here. These are the ones that got in.
What, those little fuckers up there?
Yeah, they're horrible.
Are they? Yeah. At least
they're
not
over here too. See?
Yeah, but it'd be worse if they were mozzies.
But after the podcast, I'm going to vacuum them up.
Yeah. That'll be the end of their legacy.
Exactly.
But I must say, your apartment looks cool, man. You've got pictures. You've got a big... These are original prints as well, so I might take a couple of pictures for the Patreon page. If you're not aware of Patreon... Hit me up, man. I'm a one-man operation.
Take a picture of my dad and his brother when they're on break at the Start Club in New York City from back in the 40s.
There's a picture here of his...
And it looks like Uncle Jimmy scored on a girl.
Yeah, who's the dame in the middle?
That was Uncle Jimmy's girl for the night.
So which one's your dad? The one on
the right.
The one on the right. He looks like you as well.
Yeah.
Cool looking dude, man. How old was he then?
He was probably in his... mid-20s.
Mid-20s?
Yeah.
Funny how people back in those days look really old.
Damn, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
And they're more mature and everything else, and they know how to write.
I think one of the reasons why...
Skilled individuals.
Skilled individuals.
Skilled men.
Well, you know what the thing is, Ed? I suppose in keeping with the way California and the States has gone, man. You know, I mean, you have all these guys who fought in all these wars... They died and they killed other people and they went through unspeakable horrors and all that shit. You know, I don't want to get bogged down in that.
Well, it's like the stuff my dad would not talk to me about. My Uncle Jimmy told me about it and it was pretty disgusting.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, war is not fun.
So your dad never mentioned anything?
No, because he was probably suffered from PTSD and the thing is, yeah, they didn't talk about it. They didn't want to bring it up.
What did your Uncle Jimmy do? Was he like a flamethrower dude or something?
No, he wished he was, but he broke his butt bone when he was practicing to be a parachuter, so they kept him stateside.
Oh, really?
You mean stateside?
Yeah, well, hey, fair enough. But, yeah.
And then he became a Teamsters union organizer.
So he was, what was it? He was a muscle man, was he?
Yeah, he was. Look at him. He was a big guy.
He was a big guy. Was he strong-arming lads, was he?
I think he was, but we didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
But he liked to dress in nice suits and everything. And
as Easy Topwood said, girls go crazy about a sharp-dressed man.
Oh, that's what he told me.
There you go.
And look at him right there. I mean, we'll take that picture, and you can see it when Martin posts up some pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was he got mugged when he was on some Teamsters meeting in Phoenix, Arizona in a parking lot. But he ended up almost killing both of the muggers.
Whoa.
Yeah, so... he broke one of the muggers' jaws and broke the guy's ribs, the other one.
He must have given him a nice body shot.
I think so. Yeah, look at the size of his hands.
I mean, imagine that. You think you're going to get like
fella.
a sweet deal out of mugging someone, and he just batters the pair of you.
Yeah, because he had a nice suit on. Don't underestimate.
Mate, it happened to me once. I think I've probably spoken about before. Some knobhead in Murray-Atoria.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you've heard this before, listeners, I apologise, but basically, to round it off succinctly, I was dressed in a nice, tweed suit jacket, the old skinny jeans, Converse, long hair, plaid shirt, looking dapper. About 4 a.m, me and the Booble Dolls. We were just, out having the crack, and some lad with a fucking baseball bat stuffed down his pants came up and asked me for a cigarette. He asked me a couple of times. I said no, very politely. And he comes back and he's just looking at me in the face, and I was like, this dude's something's weird here. Bang, get a headbutt to the cheek, but just went, bah, with a straight left, and I sent him about 5 foot, broke his nose. And
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, just one shot. But what that stupid fucker didn't realise was me, Tom and Pete, we were training with Per Eklund, and Per Eklund was the first Swedish UFC fighter, and he would correct any mistakes we were doing.
So he's showing you those moves.
Yeah, and on top of that, we had this guy called Kenta who runs a gym called Prana, and Kenta's he's renowned for his lunatic training sessions. Like,
kind of like Kaji Kimbo.
Whoever Kaja Kimbo was.
No, it's like a street fighting art that a lot of guys where I came from got into it.
It was like the Warriors boys.
I guess. I mean, they went around beating everybody up, but it worked.
Were they like the Guardian Angels?
Well, they wanted me to be part of it, but I was doing something else, and I wasn't that interested in it.
Yeah, who wants to just go around arbitrarily beating dudes up,
Yeah, that's what they like to do. But anyway, enough of that stuff. Yeah. But Martin dealt the guy, and the guy he had a broken nose.
Yeah, so his nose, the bridge
Did
of
you
his
take
nose.
his baseball bat?
Waiting to hear this. So the guy gets up, right, and he goes, the reason, I mentioned, he had the crutch with him. So the crutch, I was like, why is he just going around with one crutch? But he'd actually had it down his pants. He had a baseball bat down his pants.
So that was
it wasn't a massive penis. So he was using the crutch, so he didn't have to bend the legs. And then he was like, give me the bat back, and it was like a homemade thing. And I was like, no, I'm not giving you the bat back. And then and then I was like, whoa, like this with raising the bat to him. And this middle-aged woman, a blonde woman with curly hair and this black scarf with pink roses comes out, and she goes, Snälla, don't hit him. He is my son. I was like, what?
That was her son?
So she said, but I think it was probably some strange old woman who'd gone through a breakdown, and maybe he was shagging her and she was taking care of her. I don't know what the fuck was going on there, but I just said, get out of here in a cab. So there was a cab waiting, and he had all blood coming out of his nose and all that. So they jumped into a cab, and I was like, Tom, we've got to get out of here. And Tom was like, you'll be right, man. Don't worry about it. I fucked him. You'll be grand, man. And he was like, he goes, call Chappie. And I was like, call Chappie. Chappie is an old friend of ours from Swinford who used to DJ. Good lad. Big shout out to Paul Chapman. Hey! But, so I wanted to keep the bat as a
souvenir.
Yeah, spoils of war. Yeah. But the guys in the kebab shop was like, you can't take this on the street. If the police come, they will take you and they will arrest you. And I'm like, I just defended myself, man. It's a memento of the occasion. And so then
bravado.
Yeah, bravado. Yeah, I would have used that thing to try and mug people.
Something you put in the living room and people say, "What's that?"
I could have walked around
something to talk about.
Exactly. I could have walked around with a pair of fucking Adidas pants on and a crutch, just pretending.
Exactly.
But the guys, some shadowy dude behind the kiosk just went and took it. But I took the crutch home, but it ended up having to be thrown out in the end. But the moral of the story, that whole story was beware of lads who look soft and turn out to be hard. I'm not saying that I'm some sort of hard case or anything, but I grew up in a world near, not quite Liverpool, but a suburb across from Liverpool, and there was always an element of you had to handle yourself there. Then I went back to Swinford, which is fucking nuts for fighting, man. I think it's it's not as crazy as it used to be, but back in the day, man, it was just people rucking the whole time.
Where's that?
In Swinford, where I'm from, in Mayo.
Okay.
It was just part of the culture. Even well-to-do people in the town are handy. Just a whole town full of hard nuts.
Well, that's where they're from.
Sound hard nuts.
Yeah.
But it's Connacht. It's part of the Irish. I mean, it's not so much anymore because all that fucking pervasive American bollocks has kind of come into it, where You know, I mean, there's a lot of this chat
What
about...
strikes me is they're getting a little bit softer there, and they're forgetting about a lot of things there too.
This is what I was going to say, which again ties into the whole California thing. The problem is people today, right? And this is, like, I've also been guilty of this. It's, people have lost long-term thinking. And what I mean by that is individuality is like, no, I've got to look after myself. But it's kind of like, imagine if you're doing a golf swing, right? And you're swinging for the ball. And if you have a really good swing, you'll hit and you'll follow through. And with the follow through, even though the ball is already gone, the fact that you followed through all the way has pushed the object further into the distance. And I think this is something I've come to realise. Like last week I was skateboarding and I haven't skated in years, and my friend Yeppe was...
So you realised you have to practice a little bit more, right?
Yeah, but obviously the practice over... like
because you lose your balance after a certain amount of years.
Yeah, you do, but it comes back with muscle memory. But I haven't dropped in to like a ramp for maybe 15 years, and Yeppe was like, you're not leaving until you do it. So I did it. I think it was like 800 times, man. And then when I did it, I realised I was only looking right in front of me instead of imagining what it was like to be on the other side and up on the other. So
what happened? You just go straight down and...
Yeah, I just fell off. I just kept taking my back foot off instinctively, and then once I figured it out, I was like, "Wow, this is it's natural. Once you know, it's easy." But that's what I think society these days lacks, that kind of
drive.
The drive, but also thinking about the next generation. As when you become a parent, you realise that it's not all about you, and until parenthood, you're kind of always thinking about, oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to study? What job can I do? But when you have kids, you start kind of thinking about the next generation as a whole, as well as your own kids. So I think, politicians, they don't give a fuck, man. They're lying in their own pockets.
Oh, they're there to get the money from the lobbyists and just get rich quick.
But that's the whole thing. If you look at the States, I was in Philadelphia, and my auntie, she's dead now, God rest her. But she was taking me on a tour of Philadelphia, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that used to be a Dutch neighborhood, crack lounge. That used to be an Irish neighborhood, all boarded up." And you're looking around all these places, and you're coming through New York through New Jersey, and there's towns that you could see all these amazing buildings from really prosperous eras.
Times. And
you realise the money is just being fucking sucked out through interest, through crony capitalism, banking, and the war. Perpetual fucking war is...
War that's been going on now. America's been in war now for 28 years.
It's sick, man.
Non-stop. And it's never going to end unless somebody stops everything.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the veterans as well. Was
But the people that make the weapons don't want them to stop. They want them to keep doing that. And nobody's thinking about, well, maybe we can start working on alternative energy devices instead of weapons.
Imagine, right?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Imagine, let's say this year they're probably going to spend $1 trillion on the military. Imagine if they put $1 trillion into homelessness and redeveloping. Just imagine they took $1 trillion across the board. Every small community or every community that's been affected by crack, crime and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
They just were like, okay, here's a nice school. Here's some rehabilitation programs. $1 trillion. Think of how far that would go.
Exactly.
And it's not. It's just going off to fucking lobbyists.
Well, I see a big recession hitting the States pretty soon, too.
The rest of the world.
Yeah, then once it hits the States, it's going to ricochet into Europe.
Well, it always does.
Yeah.
But, it's all inflated. Yeah, the thing is, look at both World War One and World War Two. Both were kind of off the back of a massive recession. And right now you have all this shit going on in Hong Kong. And... you look at Israel just bombed, they bombed Iraq, they bombed Syria. They've probably done about 500 odd, they're constantly bombing Syria the whole time, and Lebanon. And then you got Iran in the mix, and you're kind of thinking it's fucking going to kick off there. It's going to kick off maybe in China. It's kicking off in Venezuela. And then you've got all these trade routes. It's always disputes over resources and trade routes. And we could well be looking at the dawn of of a new fucking massive world war, and I don't want it to happen. I mean,
no, nobody does.
Yeah, only a fucking lunatic would. But like, who's as Creedence or John Fogerty would say, I ain't no fortunate one. I ain't no military son. And, you know, it'll always be, look, fucking George Bush. He dodged
The war.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
George W. Bush. And then
most of those
John
guys
Bolton.
who want to have war have never been to war.
No. So,
you know, that's usually the case.
Whereas Kennedy, fair play to him, he served.
Yeah, he did. And he was in World War II, just like my dad.
Yeah.
So they probably crossed paths and didn't even know it.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, that's the future of humanity. Like, do you really want to fucking... Can you not just look at the past and be like, nah, I don't want to go down that route? But anyway, who are we? Just two fucking beautiful men talking shite. But, yeah, so tell me this. California, back to that. It's not looking good.
No, it's not. And Danny
one of the richest
Danny
states
was just back from there, and he said that he wouldn't even recognize Southern California anymore. It's just packed with people. I mean, wall-to-wall people, wall-to-wall cars. The freeways don't move because so many people drive everywhere because the transit system in California sucks.
Yeah.
And and then there's loads of people from all over the continental of U.S. of A. wanting to move to California.
Yeah.
So you got all these people moving to California, trying to find work and can't find work. Mm-hmm. And so they end up living in tents and end up being bums, you know, and it's pretty sad. And these nice areas in California are just overrun with tents, tent city. And then there's lots of rats, like we talked about, all over the place. And fleas are biting the rats, and the fleas end up biting the people, bite their pets or whatever. So they say all these weird diseases are starting to come back again, especially in Los Angeles and Skid Row. They said it's just like so bad there now. They never seen so many people in the Skid Row in Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah, it's just tents everywhere.
That's fucking mental, man. In this day and age, like it's a world of plenty, and yet that's happening. But you know, Southern California, when you were growing up, I'd say it was great fun.
It was nice when I grew up there because it was beautiful and it wasn't that built up.
Yeah.
When I first got there, when I was a kid.
And did you surf much?
Yeah, we did because I lived on the beach. I lived on Beach Road.
Yeah.
So you grow up surfing when you're like 5 or 6 years old. You just start doing it.
And were you skating as well, skateboarding?
Oh yeah, we started out with the black night boards with the clay wheels, and you hit like a little pebble and you go sailing off and tear your knees up and your elbows.
Well, that was
before they had urethane wheels.
Oh right, so they made of clay.
Yeah, they used to be made out of clay. You can Google search it and find Black Knight skateboards on Google. So the listener that's tonight, if they're interested in what a Black Knight skateboard looked like, Google it up and you'll see it.
Black Knight is a long way from home. But what was your man?
With skinned up knees and skinned up elbows.
What was his name? Powell Paletta or something? What was his name?
Which one?
He was like he's got like a massive skateboarding company, but he's one of those like legends.
Hawk, Tony Hawk, and
no, this is before that.
Tony Alva.
But those guys, like they were the ones who started doing.
Hobie Alter, he was like making skateboards plus surfboards. He was our neighbor.
And Santa Cruz then, because they a big skateboard manufacturer. Have you ever been to Santa Cruz?
Yeah, but these other places, they had Cadillac wheels that were made down in Acadia, California. Those were the first urethane wheels that came out. And
tell me this: have you been to Santa Cruz? Because Santa Cruz is a place that's fascinated me.
Yeah, I've been there. My distant relative Jack O'Neill, he lived there.
Jack the lad.
Yep, and you know what he did?
What?
He was king of the wetsuits.
Really?
O'Neill wetsuits.
No way.
Yeah, I met him once when I was working as a prep cook at Wind and Sea in Dana Point when I was about 19. Or I was probably 8. No, I think I was 17, 17 or 18. But anyway.
So that's your cousin? The guy.
No, but anyway, they told me one of the waitresses goes, your uncle's out there just kidding around. And I said, who? Jack O'Neill. So I said, really? So I went out there and met him.
All right.
Said, hello, I'm Ed O'Neill. And he shook my hand. He said, you got a great last name. Patted me on the back.
From the O'Neill clan.
Just think if I had his money, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on some tropical island.
Oh, man, that's what it's about. The Bahamas or something.
Yep. I wish.
But, yeah, so What happened? What happened then? Like, what did you do after school? Let's say, what was your lifestyle like back in the? Were you driving around in a nice Camaro? Just
No, are you kidding? I was driving around in a Volkswagen Bug.
oh, nice.
Yep, and then a few years later, I got myself a Ford Ranger 4-wheel drive, V6 engine, fuel injected.
F-150.
I don't know what it was, but it was powerful enough.
Yeah.
To go, to drive all around the place. So it was like a lot of cool trips down in Mexico and stuff.
What was Mexico like back in the
fishing. Day? Mexico, before the cartels took it over, was a lot of fun to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about getting kidnapped, and the food is always excellent no matter what.
Yeah, man. When I was in LA, you go past these street trucks, and it's like $5, $3. I can't remember. I think it was like 3 tacos for $5. But
carnitas tacos, those pork ones that make you just go to heaven.
There was chicken, chorizo, but it's like you get a bunch of cilantro, as they call it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but over here it's coriander, but it's like it's a salad there. Whereas over here it's like a herb you put on it, but you're just putting like bunches of this coriander.
Well, you put and finely diced onions and really good homemade salsa.
Of all the food places here in Stockholm, what's that place on? I think there's 2 of them, but one of them's off Drottninggatan. It's a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, none of them are like real Mexican restaurants.
No.
They don't make burritos the right way. They gringoized it, gabachoized it into food that white people like.
Yeah.
And if you got the real stuff from real Mexicans, you would just be blown away how good it is.
Yeah.
And the people here, it's like homogenized Mexican food, basically, in Europe.
Well, they say the same thing about Chinese food as well. Like, the stuff you get here is completely different to what you get in China.
Yeah, I was dating a Chinese girl here, and she took me to a place where they actually did make Chinese food the way that she liked it. But she said all the other places were homogenized, too.
Really?
Yeah, they were made for... Well, because Chinese people are like Mexicans. They like really hot food, too. So when you eat a lot of the Chinese food in these restaurants, these restaurants that are all over, these Chinese restaurants... They're not hot. The food isn't that hot unless you make it hot.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten that, what's it called, the harikiri hot dog in Gamlistan?
No, I never got around to it.
Fucking hell.
Have you done it?
Your man, Jasper, he squirted someone some bread for me once because I said, I make hot sauces. I'm pretty good at it. Good at it, yeah.
Yeah, I can handle it.
Yeah, I can handle it. He goes, oh yeah? Try some of this. So he squirted someone some hot dog bread and I ate it and I was like, oh! And it felt like I got blisters on the back of my mouth and it felt like someone fucking popped my eardrums with a knitting needle.
And you never had hemorrhoids until the next day.
Tell you one thing, I had to keep the toilet roll in the freezer. But there's a secret to it, apparently. Right, so for any of you who don't know about this, it's this guy who has this hot dog stand in Stockholm.
I don't think he's there anymore.
Oh, he has. He just moved into the square. He got a bigger one, I think.
Okay, he's back.
So apparently you have to sign a waiver of your own responsibility, but he takes Carolina Reaper chilies, which are the hottest on the planet, and he grinds it in with the hot dog meat. But on top of that, what he does is he cuts like a slit in the middle, and then he puts it on the grill, and then he puts this extremely hot sauce made out of Carolina Reaper as well in the middle of this trough that's on the hot dog. So the whole idea is you get a T-shirt if you win the challenge, but apparently people try and eat it immediately, and sure, like the heat. When you eat something that's hot food when it's hot is accentuated, but if you cool it down, you're going to get the burn from the capsicum. But apparently the inside information on this one, the inside track,
I want to hear this,
is you've got to wait 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Till it's cooled down. And
till the hot dog's cooled down.
Yeah, and he's going to be shouting, going, you fucking pussy, what are you doing? You piece of shit, you can't handle it. But don't listen to that, right? Don't listen to the peer pressure.
Because he doesn't want to give you a T-shirt.
He doesn't want to give you the T-shirt. So you wait until it's cool enough and just go, and inhale the whole thing as fast as you can. But I've seen guys like on the side of the footpath, just in the fetal position, just going.
Well, I grew up eating hot food, and the thing is,
But this is insane, man.
Yeah, I know that's insane, hot. But anyway, I can eat more hot food than most people can.
But did you ever try?
I'm not trying to brag or anything. I was just brought up with it.
Yeah, exactly. But did you ever try this this sauce called the bomb?
I think I did once.
Fucking hell, it's nasty stuff, man. It's basically it's. I asked this guy about, and he goes, "Oh no, that's shit." Because what they do is they use I don't know if it's formaldehyde, but they use some sort of chemical
From the embalming fluid.
Yeah, exactly. But it extracts the capsicum out of the. It maximizes everything out of the.
Another thing, if it's too hot, you want to know what I learned?
What?
Sprinkle some sugar on it.
Oh yeah.
Then it'll cut the heat off.
All right, because they say eat bread as well.
Yeah, because sugar works. Believe me. Because when I was in Thailand, this Thai girl showed me that.
Oh, you've been to Thailand?
Yeah, 3 times. She goes, huh?
What's the food like?
It was good.
Yeah.
Really good. Way better than any Thai restaurants here. But
really?
But you got a lot of good seafood there, man. Whoa. If you like seafood, that's a place to go.
Yeah.
You can just woof it down. And they also do pig really good there, too.
They do.
Yeah. But what was I there? I was there, and this Thai girl was showing me. She said,
the question is, Ed,
phalanx,
did she love you long time?
Oh, she was my girlfriend for a long, long time.
So she did love you long time?
Yeah, I was working down there. We built 3 houses down there.
No way. When was this?
This was way back before I met Cassandra's mom.
All right.
Yeah.
So did you meet her here in Sweden?
Who?
The Thai woman?
No, I met her there. She was the manager at the hotel I was staying at.
All right.
Yeah, but she liked the Rolling Stones, and we just started talking about it, and I told her about all the Stones albums I knew about, and she was blown away. She was impressed, and then she wanted me to go with her to watch her sing karaoke. And
then you'd start kissing passionately on the beach.
Well, the second night, we were... It was probably the third night, I think. But anyway.
And I was going to say...
And she was a cutie. Yeah. Really
yeah?
Nice.
You still keep in touch?
Well, we tried to make it happen, but I never got, this third time around, we just said goodbye.
Yeah.
Basically. But it's a lot of paperwork, and then you get burned out from it.
Yeah. The red tape doesn't acknowledge...
especially, and they go, well, you don't speak Swedish, so if she comes with you and she can't speak, she just speaks English, and...
Yeah, but you know what? Sweden...
It's like...
living in Stockholm will stretch the bonds of many a passionate relationship. But I must say, your apartment, a lot of these pictures are... You've got Alice Cooper, you've got Rolling Stones. Who's that lad there?
That's Jethro Tull.
Oh, Jethro Tull again, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Ronnie Wood with...
Bo Diddley.
Bo Diddley, yeah.
Backstage, Ed was hanging out with him. I took a picture of him.
That's
Ed Fennell.
Is that Mick and
yeah, that's
Ronnie?
a New Barbarians tour up there.
Yeah?
I got the book right there I found for 147 crowns.
You've more Stones and then Roger Daltrey. But these are all Ed Fennell, your friend, who's the official... Rolling Stones and Zeppelin. He lives here in Stockholm as well, around the corner.
He's selling stuff on the auction block
yeah.
over by the Globe and making lots of money now.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, he is.
He gave me, last time I met him, he gave me a signed Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, which is now on the back of the door, but I got to get it framed. But that's pretty cool. But the sad thing is, like all these guys who were, massive people, they're kind of. They're kind of going into the territory now where someone would have said in the late 90s, oh man, I love Buddy Holly and the Richie Valens and the Big Bopper and all the boys. It's like that era now. But I guess
it is for us. I mean, exactly. Because a lot of times these pictures that were put up, I was like 13 or 12 when they were taken. So, but then when you find out how long ago it was, then it really scares the hell out of you.
Yeah. I mean, like you're talking 50 years.
Yeah, I know. That picture of Pete Townsend jumping up in San Francisco, that's from 76. And a lot of those people in the row are photographers, and Ed knows them.
Yeah?
Ed knows a lot of the people in that picture up there.
How many of them are still with us, Ed?
I don't know. I have to ask Ed next time.
Did you ever meet Iggy Pop?
I shook his hand.
Yeah.
I've seen him 31 times.
31 times?
Yeah.
Did you go to that gig he did recently in the north of Sweden?
No, I didn't go to it.
No.
Couldn't find anybody to give me a ride up, and I just did bail on it because, it's a pain in the ass to get a train up there, then trying to find a hotel if it's a big show, then
what do you think
decent hotel rooms are taken.
Oh, the usual crack.
Yeah.
What do you think of Greta Van Fleet?
Oh, they're all right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, like, they're basically just... I mean, they're good, but it's kind of like it'd be like me just sounding exactly like the Beatles or something.
Led Zeppelin a little bit.
Yeah, or it's.
Well, they were really weaned by 70s rock.
Yeah, but in fairness, Kings of Leon, when they started off, they Molly's Chamber and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like in fairness, like it's nice that kind of music is still going. So hats off to them for keeping it going. I can see you're being really tormented by the moths.
They drive me nuts.
But they're so small, man. Like I thought you were on about like big bastards.
A couple of them get in here too.
They do. Yeah.
These are the ones that can really bother you for a while because you'd be sitting there watching TV and they're like crawling on the TV screen.
You know what? I can't fucking stand it. They really do my head in.
What's
it's about this time of year they really come into their own. Is the banana flies, the fruit flies.
Oh yeah, but you know how to get rid of them: vinegar and dish soap.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, just a squirt of dish soap in a big glass of vinegar, and guaranteed they're going to go away. By the next day, you won't have them.
Really?
Yeah, it's like dope to them. They fall into it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they get so overwhelmed by it. They fall into it and sink.
Sweet. I'll have to do that.
So do that. That's a tip.
I had like a bowl of fruit there last year, and it was pretty hot, and I don't know, there was, for some reason, there was like two 10-euro notes in the bottom of the fruit bowl. So we just kept putting fruit on top of them. The banana flies would come back, and it hadn't been like, it was like a fruit. You just take what was on the top, and then I had to like, look at the bottom of it. But like I lifted up the tenner, there was all these little fucking maggots just on that. I was like, nah, this is it's getting out of hand now. But that was after like about 4 days. There was already maggots underneath. But I think like
that's healthy food.
Healthy, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
It's not full of preservatives. You got to remember that.
The plum, actually, yeah, they were fresh plums that were taken off a tree, and then like in the heat, they just started like disintegrating.
Becoming food for fruit flies.
Exactly.
And they start gathering up like crazy.
Those little bastards,
Well, anyway, let's talk about the book I picked up yesterday.
Tell me more about this book, Ed O'Neill.
Well, I saw it because I seen the New Barbarians back in 1979.
So for our listeners who don't understand who the New Barbarians are, pray you tell.
It's Ron Wood came out with the album "Give Me Enough," give me some neck, or give me enough neck, or whatever it's called. But anyway, Keith Richards was on it with him, so they went on tour.
Just the two of them.
Yeah, just the two of them with a really hot band.
And who was singing?
Well, they both were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a great song.
New Barbarians. I mean, unreal concert. Ian McLagan from the Faces was their keyboard player. And who else was in this band?
Who's your man? Or the song "Waiting
Bobby
for
Keys
the
was
Phone"? Or waiting for what was this? It's at the end of Sopranos series 2, I think. Waiting for the phone to call or something. Or I'm probably making a botched job of that. It's off the Rolling Stones.
It even came with a CD.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, Live Barbarians.
And this remastered and all that. So
it sounds good.
Ed's a real connoisseur when it comes to the music. And how many records have you got in here, give or take? I mean, you've got a whole wall of vinyls, and then you've got CDs all over the place. Some great stuff.
Say like a packed one would have like 75 in each one.
75 in each one of these?
Yeah, I think so. We counted them once.
So what's the gar with people sending in vinyls to you?
Well, they usually send in CDs to me so I can play tracks on the radio show.
Yeah.
Ones that they pick or ones that I pick, and then they're surprised at the ones I pick and the ones they pick. That could be singles.
Who was your man? The Australian dude.
Which?
The Australian is the guy who goes. He's a real hit with the gilfs.
Oh,
Matera.
What? Trevor?
No. What's his name? Joe Matera or something.
Oh, Joe Matera. Yeah. He's
check out his music videos.
He's one of a kind. But the middle-aged women love him.
They do.
Yeah, I mean he's like the next Tom Jones. They like to come to his shows and support him.
We're talking menopausal women.
Yeah. But it's
they get hot flushes when Joe Matera comes to town. So you had a bit of beef recently with a friend of yours. Tell me more. What's going on there?
Well, the thing is, we had a band on the radio, and we did a really good interview with them. And then I wanted to send that band the show, and they wanted it too, to put up on their website.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't get the code to get into the Mixcloud.
Right.
And Trevor,
Sorry.
Trevor wouldn't give it to me.
You said you weren't going to mention his name.
But anyway, we'll just say this guy from England. But anyway, he wouldn't give it to me, right? So he's been holding this grudge now for almost 1 year. Over a year now, I think.
What's for
It's been about a year, hasn't it?
I guess so,
Because you remember when it happened, it was like everybody was surprised that anybody would be such a jerk about it. No, but anyway, we needed the code to get into the Mixcloud. So.
Can I interrupt it for a second? Back in 2004, when Chris Tordoff was over, I brought him over here when I was with my ex-girlfriend Sarah, and he was over for about 6 weeks. But my friend Josef, have you met Josef? Josef.
I might have.
Well, we were hanging out. It was me and Chris were hanging out in a friend of ours called Andreas, he was living in his parents' place, this like massive house near Valhalla Vegan, and so Andreas had long gone to bed, and me and Josef and Tordoff were like drinking, like they had a huge 2-litre bottle of Smirnoff. We were just drinking it, mixing it with saft and water. So it was about really 6 o'clock in the morning. It was back in the day where, phones were a real luxury. So we were just phoning up like lads from Swinford.
Just out of the blue.
Just out of the blue at like probably 6 in the morning where we are. So we phoned up my mate Kinsella. And I was like, hey, Joseph, speak to Kinsella. And Joseph just said, the code to the girls is 719216. Because I think I mentioned something to Kinsler about you want to come over here, man, the women are fantastic. And so Joseph was like, the code to the girls. But he didn't give you the code to the Mixcloud, Ed. So that's
so it's forever locked in the.
So who's got the codes?
No, he ended up giving it to me after a while, and he changed the code to his codes. I don't know what the story was, but anyway, he told me not to give it to anybody.
Who was the band that you interviewed? Super Suckers or something?
I forgot who it was. It was a long time ago. But anyway, the thing is, they wanted the show, and I was going to give it to them. And I kept promising I was going to give it to him that weekend. Never got around to it because Trevor wouldn't give me the code, or Trevor didn't want to put it in. So then
code to the girls.
Yeah, code to the girls. Yeah, right. He wishes. But anyway, the thing is, we finally got the code from him, and he gave it to me, and he told me not to give it to anybody. But then I tried to put the show up on Mixcloud, couldn't do it, so I could share it with the band. So I ended up Tech Boy at the radio station, and he's special.
Talk a little bit about Tech Boy, just so people know who he is.
Okay, he's the guy who sets up my radio show. He's supposed to.
If you consider this as like the Joe Rogan podcast, he'd be like the Jamie character.
No, a little bit.
A little bit quieter, I suppose.
Yeah, quieter.
And his passions are...
We don't want to get into that.
But wrestling is one of his...
Wrestling is one of his big passions. He's very, how would you say, turned on by it?
As in literally turned on?
Yeah, I think so. No, but anyway, to make the story short, I can trust Daniel because, he suffers a little bit from Asperger's.
Yeah.
So the thing is, those type of people, they will keep secrets. They will not spread out, give the code to any people in Nigeria or any other places.
Yeah, they have good integrity.
Yeah. They got good integrity. They got good morals when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
So he deleted the code right after he loaded it up on Mixcloud.
Yeah.
Like I told him to. And then Trevor found out that he did it. And so he's been holding this grudge for the whole year.
Because of that?
Because of that. Making fun of me on Facebook, humiliating me.
What did he do about what was the beef on Facebook?
Well, the beef on Facebook was just recently somebody had been up north of Sweden and found a town called Ed.
Yeah.
So he put so I put the picture up and said, how many people happen to have the name Ed, a town named after them?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people got the humor and laughed and told about towns that were named after them.
Yeah.
But then he wanted to politically correct the Ed name and said Ed means stupid. Ed is dumb.
And does it?
No, it's not. It's short for Edward.
Yeah, but
So the thing is, I told him.
I mean, like the name in Swedish, like I suppose it'd be Ed.
Yeah, Ed.
Ed, yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's a fucking bit of a joke, like Ed.
Yeah, just Ed. Yeah, because it says Ed.
Yeah, exactly. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and so a lot of people saw the humor in it, and some people were, well, like him, and he wanted to humiliate me.
He wanted to make you feel bad about the codes.
So I told him from now on he has to call me Edward. He destroyed it.
He destroyed the legend of Ed.
Yeah, that's right.
Were you a fan of Edward Woodward, the 1980s Equalizer series that was on? He was also in the original Wicker Man film.
Okay, Ed Woodward or something.
Edward Woodward.
Something like that.
That name used to always make me laugh when I was a kid. Edward Woodward.
I think that was his name. Yeah, but Wicker Man was a great film. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah, man, I remember watching that at my friend's place in Galway, and we'd all smoked a few JJs, and there's a scene where all the animals are burning, you can just hear them all fucking screaming. I was like, I hope they didn't use real animals in that shit. But
Well, back then they probably did.
yeah, it was fucking terrible, man. I never want to see that film ever again. But to a lesser extent, I could probably enjoy watching the Nicolas Cage reboot that they did in America. But Christopher Lee was...
he was the best in it.
Yeah, but I think he was like a wasn't he a virgin police sergeant who ended up getting sacrificed to a load of nutters who were doing like a pagan...
Yeah, they're on some island in the Shetland Islands that's been ignored for centuries.
Yeah.
And they kept all their pagan traditions.
Yeah, but I think he tried to explain to them that the weather, the good weather they were experiencing was actually not part of like a pagan sacrificial ceremony, but it was the fact that they were endowed with the Gulf Stream.
Yeah,
So they just didn't
figure it out.
Yeah, so he got burnt at the end. So spoiler alert. So any other things you cover before we wrap this up? It's been a very, I mean, people, if you've stuck through it, fair fucks to you.
You know what we can do? We can play something from this book.
We could do.
Before it's 10 o'clock, and we can't play music after 10 when you live in a flat here in Sweden.
Okay. Well,
we got 10 more minutes.
If you want to play that tune, what song are you going putting on?
It's no track listing on it. So what we're going to do is just play 2 songs off the beginning of New Barbarians to entertain you people. And you got to remember, I was at that show back when I was 19.
You on the scene?
Yep, I was there. So we will hear a little bit of it, and we won't still be talking because we can't play it super loud. So you'll get the feel of it. You think that'll be a treat for the people that are listening to the podcast, Martin?
That's up to them to decide.
Yeah, true.
Everything is subjective at the end of the day, but the Barbarians, a little kind of offshoot of the Rolling Stones. I don't know what Mick was thinking when they went off and did their own thing, but
the thing is, he had to get money to pay his attorney. He was being going to be put in jail in Canada for heroin. Keith was.
Oh, really?
So that's why they went on tour.
Was that during the time when Keith was in his reggae phase?
I think so. A little bit of that too.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ready? We don't know what the first song is because there's no track listing. So you, the listener, will be the judge of it.
Hopefully the sound will be picked up. But Ed Fennell, your friend, the photographer, like he gets to hang out with the Stones when they come back to Stockholm.
Yeah, he sure does, and he sits backstage with them, and he gets to ride in the limousine back into Stockholm when he goes with them, and
it's a sweet touch.
And leaves me and his friend taking the subway home.
So you take the subway, and he takes the limo.
That's right.
Well, I'll be a motherfucker.
But here we go. Here's a little bit of some New Barbarians.
It better be good, Ed. It better be good, mate.
It's going to be good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go.
the New Barbarians.
Oh my God.
So what does the Autumn have in stock? Oh, by the way, you're a plumber as well.
Yeah. That's how I have to pay the rent.
And it's I think it's an important thing to have a trade to fall back on. And that's what people are trying to tell me all this time. But I was like, no, I want to be a rock star like the New Barbarians. But yeah, I'm actually, I quite like the idea of just being a skilled tradesman.
That was Ron Wood.
That was Ronnie Wood.
Yep.
There's a bit of bass.
Sweet little rock and roller, I think.
Yeah.
Good sound, huh?
Nice, yeah. Where were the speakers furnished from?
Those are from Audio Concept.
Audio Concept Stockholm.
Go there if you want to see super expensive stereo equipment.
It's good stuff, man.
It's really good stuff. It pays off to have a nice hi-fi.
I see you have the Illuminati eye on a record over there. What's that?
That's Rocky Erickson.
Rocky Erickson, yeah?
Yeah, that's a tribute album that was made for him. Made to him.
By the Illuminati.
Yeah, oh, he was big on that.
Was he?
Well, you know, all the LSD you take, and if you're frying a lot, you really want to get spiritual.
Yeah.
So you take the extra mile to figure out what all that stuff's all about and dive into it.
Did you ever listen to Tool?
Tool?
Yeah.
No, it's weird. I don't have any Tool records.
Yeah, because apparently Tool run into the whole DMT thing, and there's a lot of, I suppose, references to Saturn, like when you listen to the song The Grudge.
Okay.
So I think they've definitely done deep dives into like the more esoteric side of things. So
sounds wicked cool, dude.
totally bitchin'. Awesome.
Get that? We got that right, Bubba.
Damn right, Ed O'Neill.
Yes, indeed.
So this is like an Ed O'Neill style show where he enjoys playing records, and that's what he's all about. He's a disc jockey, the wheels of steel, and you listen to the New Barbarians. And what's the name of the song?
It's Sweet Little Rock and Roller.
Sweet Little Rock and Roller.
And it was, I think, Rod Stewart did this album on Smiler with Ron Wood and the rest of the Faces. Those was when Rod Stewart was doing records that were more or less like Faces records.
Would you
That means they were hard, good rock and roll records.
Would you consider them sweet dudes?
Yeah, they seem all right. Ed tells me they're nice guys.
Yeah.
We didn't get to go to the Magic Door where the Stones were hanging out when I was backstage.
Yeah.
I guess I got to hang out with the Swedish celebrities. Me and Ed's friend did.
And who are they? The Helicopters?
Yeah, the Helicopters were surprised to see me there.
Yeah. Man, the Helicopters are a great band.
Swedish band, if you don't know about it. Really fabulous. There's a new band out called the Drippers.
Oh, yeah?
And they kick ass just like the Helicopters do. But man,
Are
they
they
got
all-
a really solid punch.
Are they an all-girl band?
No, it's a guy band. But they got long hair like girls.
Yeah. The Drippers.
Yeah. The Drippers, check them out if you haven't heard about them.
And where
I'm
are they,
sure you have.
Where are they from?
Gothenburg.
Ah,
But they want to be on my show.
yeah. Bring them on, man. Bring
I'm
them on.
gonna bring them on.
Hey, Ed, what are your expert opinions on my EP?
I think it's excellent. A lot of people loved it, remember?
Yeah.
People heard it, even Tech Boy liked it, remember?
Tech Boy liked it as well.
Yeah.
Praise from Caesar. Yeah, I'm gonna get an LP out eventually. Just getting the studio time next is the thing.
I mean, listen to that remaster.
It's pretty sweet. But I think we'll wrap it up there now.
We are people, and the thing is, we can probably have another one of these podcasts down the road.
Oh, anytime you like.
And you
mate.
know what? We can bring somebody else with us, like Danny O'Brien.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
He's
to talk
very
to him.
interesting
Yeah, he is.
because he's from Fullerton, California. That's near where I come from, and he used to be the drummer for the punk band The Avengers back in '77, and then he joined Joan Jett's band. Was a drummer for Joan Jett, and he named them the Blackhearts.
No way.
And he's played with numerous other famous punk rock people, too numerous to name right now. But we will bring him on one time with one of Martin's podcasts and talk about a lot of cool stuff.
And can I also say, for any of you who might have thought that this podcast has devolved into a big piss-up, Ed O'Neill is a sober man.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't drank since 1991.
So yeah, but he likes to rock and roll.
That's my alcohol.
That's his alcohol.
And boy, do I drink a lot.
Would you take mushrooms?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I love magic mushrooms, and hallucinogenics are kind of an Irish thing.
Yeah, maybe that's...
Because we have strong minds, and we can really fantasize.
Yeah, just cut loose and explore the inner workings of the
And
psyche.
see things that nobody else has seen.
Exactly. So you've never been to Ireland yet?
No, I never have. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but you have to come over. I've been telling you for a long time.
No, I'm going to go over there because I have to now because I'm mostly Irish. That the DNA said that is my my country. I have to go because most of me come from there. Then the rest of me comes from Scotland, and I got a little bit of 6% Swedish and 9% Norwegian.
6% Swedish, yeah?
Yeah, and the rest is Irish.
Wow. So any final
But that's like most Swedes. When they do DNA tests, it goes to Norway.
Oh yeah, but that's
Yeah, and Sweden too a little bit.
yeah. Probably from Denmark as well.
Yeah, because the Vikings settled there and lived there. So what happens? They end up having kids,
Sticking around.
sticking around, and
Yeah.
populating their area a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know, the O'Neill part where I come from, there was no Vikings there.
No?
No, because he was 100% Irish.
Well, my sister did a DNA test on me, and I apparently have 10% Scandinavian.
Most most Irish people do.
Well, in her DNA, obviously we have the same parents, but I don't know if the levels change in siblings in terms of what goes through the DNA. But yeah, it was like 80. It was like 80% Connacht, which is the
Yeah.
northwest, where your family are from as well. 10% Scandinavian, 2% unknown, and 8% English. So probably those poor bastards who Cromwell sent to hell or to Connacht ended up there and, you know, married into the stock over there as well. So
Well, they took an O'Neill to fight the New Model Army. Did you know that?
who were the New Model Army again?
They were an army that were fighting under Cromwell.
And the O'Neills went up against them.
Some O'Neill general that was training in Spain came over and set up an
Resistance.
army that kicked ass all over the New Model Army
Oh,
and
nice.
sent Cromwell running.
Good. He was
Yeah.
an asshole.
Did they dig his body up and burn it again? And
Well, I hope they bloody did.
they should.
But what was the story? Isn't there a band called the New Model Army as well?
Yeah, I got their new record right here.
And who are they?
It's an Irish guy that fronts the band, but he's
Yeah.
living.
How long have they been on the go for?
Oh, they've been around for at least 30 years.
Oh, really, yeah?
At least or more, I think. This was their newer album. See, it's like a mushroom album.
It's a nice bit of artwork.
Yes, it's very.
So the New Model Army as well, so check those guys out. Oh yeah, it's very very Lord of the Rings. From
Correct.
Here it's called. But yeah, well look, I'll wrap it up, and thanks for listening. Ed O'Neill, any final words?
Well, just keep it real and keep on rocking, and always tune into my radio show every time you find out on Facebook when I'm going to have my next show, or maybe on Instagram. But if you don't know about me, just find me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Ed Buckley O'Neill, befriend me, and you will not be disappointed.
So Ed Buckley O'Neill, add him on Facebook, and to avoid disappointment. Yeah, so that's been me as well. Thank you very much. Yeah, big thanks to all my patrons who've stuck it out. Really appreciate it. And if you want to jump on as well, please do. Hardy Books podcast on Patreon, or Hardy Books, can't remember. But keep it real, as Ed would say, and look after yourself wherever you are. And we'll talk to you soon.
You got that
Adieu.
right.
You got that right.
Adios.
Take care. Bye bye.
Yep, bye. I think it was a good one.